In this video, I'm going to show you the best way to scout summer bucks. So there are a number of ways to scout summer bucks, and probably the best way is to put up trail cameras. And the water hole slash mock scrape stand locations right here, and the water hole and mock scraper right here. Got a camera set up on that, and then I'm going to be going on a trip this week, so I'll be putting up some more cameras because I won't be down in the woods, and that'll make the deer flow in a lot more since there's no human pressure down here, since I'm not going to be down here. So setting up trail cameras is probably the #1 way to scout for deer, or especially those mature bucks that are in the summer. And so we've already gotten a lot of pictures of some mature bucks, and excited to see what they turn into this season. And I really think we're going to have a great hunt this season because just of all the sign we're seeing right now, and new food plots, seed and stuff's coming in. So I'm really excited for this season. But trail cameras for scouting whitetails are very important, and making sure that you're putting them up in the right spots. So probably the main spots that I would put them up in is an ag field like what we have right here, and I'll mention this in a little bit longer in a minute. But putting them on food sources like these agricultural fields, this is a great place on these, like on the back tree line right here. Putting it up on that tree line would be a great spot to scout where a summer buck is, because doing that during the hunting season is not as good. But really during the summer, when there's no pressure, you don't care about spooking the deer, putting those trail cameras up on ag fields are really good to scout and see where those bucks are going. And then the second spot would be a summer bedding spot. So probably 95% of the time, the summer bedding and the fall bedding are different. Now here we have a limited number of trees, really low value cover that we're trying to upgrade. But for right now, the deer are actually bedding in the same exact spot that they were during the hunting season, and I have proof of that by trail camera photos, beds that are in there, fresh beds that are in there right now versus fresh beds that I found during the hunting season or right after hunting season. So that's basically right over here, about maybe another 300 yards, and then over here probably another 400 yards. Those are the only 2 bedding areas on this property because there's not that much cover on this property. But they have to use that because there's no other good quality cover anywhere else for them to bed in. And especially neighboring properties that are pressured, we're going to unpressure these bedding areas, hunting strategically and quietly, and we're going to make sure that those bedding areas stay there and stay good. So summer bedding spots are really good places to put up trail cameras. And then even your water holes and scrapes, that's a great place to put your trail cameras as well. I'm still going to have those in the same spot this hunting season too, but that's still a great spot. Food plots not as well while the food is growing. Not usually putting cameras up on food plots, but if that's still in their main travel like it is here, we're probably going to still put one up in there because they have to travel through the food plot if they want to feel safe and secure. But they'll still travel through that food plot even though there's no food in it right now. That's another important thing, is to make sure that there's no food for those summer bucks, so that way they don't stay consistently on your land. You don't want summer bucks to stay consistently on your land, because then they're not going to be here during the fall. 95% of the time, the bucks that are here during the summer consistently are not going to be here during the fall, and that is just proven throughout the whole country, and you can research that. But it was really evident here last season. I had a bunch of does, maybe just a couple small bucks, but I think I had mainly all does, about four doe family groups. 4 in one doe family group that just came on here consistently, and I didn't see any bucks till about October 12th. That's when I got my first buck picture, and then from last season, and then after that point on, I had just numerous bucks started to just flow in right after that. So it was really cool to see that and see how that habitat change played out, and how it actually does happen like that. They'll just go to their summer spot when they feel like that summer food's about to die, when their summer cover's not doing as well. They're going to go transition to their fall spot, and they're still going to have some summer cover into October, especially around here, but really once it dies off, they're going to stay consistently on your fall property and your hunting property. So that's another thing about summer bucks, is you don't want to you want to make sure that they're not coming on consistently. You still want to make sure that they're coming on to get a couple pictures, kind of feel what the bucks are doing on your property during the summer, and kind of scout them out during the summer, but making sure they're not staying on your property consistently again is really important. And then, so trail cameras is number 1 for scouting mature bucks during the summer, and then number 2 is agricultural fields. And so you can set up a trail camera on it, but around here we have a bunch of ag fields. Even driving some country roads last night, we saw about 14 deer out in the field, so that was really neat to see. And that's a really good transition into the next point, and that is making sure that you're scouting out those summer fields and those summer food sources. They're not in your food. If you don't have summer food plots, and you shouldn't have summer food plots, then this is their only main food source, and they're going to be in this field to eat the wheat. This is all wheat right now. That's going to get harvested soon. They're probably going to plant beans back in here, but really just scouting out those summer food sources and seeing where the bucks are at during that summer time period. And if you don't have these type of fields on your property, go look around on some of the country roads and just go scout for them. Even if they're a mile away, that's okay, because the majority of the time the deer or mature bucks are a couple miles away, because they're in their summer habitat range, and you should have a fall property. If you don't have summer food and you have a fall hunting property and your hunting property is right, you should be able to go to a couple miles away and see those bucks, and then you'll see those same exact bucks come onto your property this season. And so just scouting out agricultural fields. We got the balcony on the house right here. We can just come and look at this field. We see a lot of does in it almost I'd say a good amount of the time throughout the week. And then saw a couple deer just a couple days ago down in here, and they're mainly in these agricultural fields. So that's really the key point, is that you need to focus on these big food sources that are coming in, not necessarily your food plots, but these big agricultural fields are really important for when you're trying to scout a mature buck during the summer. So those are the 2 main ways, is trail cameras and agricultural fields. And so they're going to move throughout the woods a lot too, but summer bedding, trail cameras, and these agricultural fields are the top 3 ways to scout mature bucks during the summer. So making sure you're putting out those trail cameras, making sure you're watching these ag fields, making sure you're scouting out bedding areas, putting trail cameras in your summer bedding areas. Those are the 3 great ways to scout mature bucks during the summer. So I hope that helps you, and I hope that you can find those mature bucks so that way you can hunt them this season.